delegation is so easy, just pass it on. It's not. Delegation is hard. Welcome back to Consultants Corner. I'm Rebecca Brizi. This is my corner. I am a consultant. We're talking, obviously, about delegation today. We do so much. We always do more. We're working on our own and yet running a whole business. We have to be comfortable with the both art and science of delegating. It sounds easy. Here's a list of tasks. Let me get somebody else to do them. Haha, I have delegated. But it is not actually that simple. Delegation is not about reassigning tasks or reassigning activities. Delegation is about reassigning responsibility. There's a net difference there, and if you're just telling somebody to do the things that are the overflow for you, the problem is there's no context, there's no structure. It's a very reactive way to assign work, and the reality is that you will probably be unsatisfied with the result, end up saying this is faster if I just do it myself, and the whole delegation thing flies out the window. You could write books about delegation, there's plenty to say, but let's start with how to determine what should be delegated. That seems like a good place to start. You have to know what you're delegating. You're doing a million things. You're working on your business and in your business. You have to serve clients, find clients, keep clients happy, network, manage your business, manage accounts, maybe manage suppliers, manage your life and yourself. Do all of your different marketing and communication channels. What have I forgotten? I'm sure there's so much more. We naturally delegate some things. Many of you maybe have a CPA who does your tax return every year. If you use a calendar plugin, guess what? You've just outsourced some of your scheduling to technology. How to look at the complexive whole of everything you're doing and determine what should be delegated. The first thing to ask yourself is actually what has the most risk. I have a client who has a particular part of her work and she refuses to delegate it because she says, this is so important, it's so essential. It's an administrative function, but it keeps her team happy. It's very important to how the business is run. Well, it's not her area of expertise, but she doesn't trust outsourcing it because she's afraid of somebody doing it wrong. But it takes her so long to do it because it's not her area of expertise. There are firms and agencies out there that actually do this work. She needs to learn to trust them. The point is, where you have the most risk is actually where you want to look at outsourcing to an expert. Don't review your own contracts. Do a first pass at reviewing your own contracts, but before you put your signature to anything legal, maybe have an attorney look it over because the risk there is significant. Same with your tax returns. If you do it wrong, the risk there is significant. Payroll is another area where getting it wrong could impose significant risk if you're not paying your people, for example, if you have employees. Look at those parts of your business where the risk factor associated with the activity is particularly high, and if that is not your expertise, if that is not what you should be doing, then you shouldn't be doing it. Just because it's your business doesn't mean that your expertise is there. If you are a strategic consultant, serving your clients well is high risk, but it requires strategic consulting, which is what you do. You're fine. Managing contracts correctly might be high risk, but you're not an attorney, you're a strategic consultant. Therefore, have an attorney look at those contracts. The second thing to look at is kind of the opposite, but what has the lowest return? You're spending time on something and it's necessary, shall we say, because otherwise, why would you be doing it? But it has a really low return. That's something you want to outsource. Think of what your hourly rate is, for example, and the amount of time that you spend on this thing. Is it worth you doing that? So look at all the things that have to get done, have a low return, outsource them, again, to an expert, to somebody who can get that done for you, who maybe does that for a lot of people. So through economies of scale, it's just much cheaper than you doing it yourself. Look at what you're already ignoring. What is it that you're not doing because you don't want to, or you don't like to, or you always forget, or it's cumbersome, but you actually should be doing? What are those things on your task list that keep getting pushed down and down and down and down? All the things that you're not doing, but should be doing, should be outsourced. Clearly, you're not doing them for a reason. Have somebody else do them, and at least they'll get done. And finally, what do you not like doing? Don't do the things you don't like doing. Really, look at all the things that you are doing that you don't like doing and think about what would it look like to outsource this, to have somebody else do this, so I don't have to do it because I really hate doing this. Highest risk, lowest return, currently being ignored, never actually liked. Those are the 4 areas to start addressing in terms of delegation. Your homework obviously is list the things that fall into any of those 4 categories. You don't have to delegate everything at once. In fact, I don't recommend it. Make that list, and based on that, start to prioritize and say, you know what? There's this huge thing in what I'm ignoring that really should be done. High impact. I'm going to start outsourcing that right away. Or maybe it's in the risk factor. Actually, I've been doing this thing and it's really high risk. I shouldn't be doing it. I'm going to outsource that first. Create your whole list and then don't outsource all at once. Outsource one at a time, but that will give you some clarity onto where's a good place to start. Delegate, it'll help your time, and it'll help your mind. And I will see you at the next video. Bye now.